So you've got your skateboard and you're ready to go out and tear up the whole neighborhood, except you're not quite sure where to start. Well, no worries, my cowgals and cowboys, because today I'm going to be giving you 4 things you can do your first week of skateboarding so that you can start getting the fundamentals down. However, before we get started, if you wouldn't mind making sure that no birds are watching, because we all know birds aren't real. We all know the saying, if it flies, it spies, and the birds are probably just leaking your information to the government. Also, if you could like this video, that'd be awesome. Now let's get started. As long as you aren't a bird.
New enemy located.
One of the first things you should do when you get your brand new skateboard is figure out how loose or tight you want your trucks to be. If you bought a pre-built complete skateboard, it's pretty likely that your trucks are going to be pretty tight or extremely loose. How tight you want your trucks to be is your preference and your preference alone. And over time, you may adjust your trucks the more and more you get comfortable with skateboarding. Just because a skateboard came to you in a certain way does not mean it's set up best for your preferences. But how do you know if you should loosen or tighten your trucks? Well, some people like their trucks tighter if they're going sonic speed fast, and other people prefer their trucks loose for more precise control. And some people like their trucks balanced right between loose and tight, and we call those people indecisive. Of course, the looser your trucks are, the easier it's going to be to turn on your skateboard, and it can also improve the flow of your skateboarding. However, if you're a brand new skateboarder, having your trucks super loose can make it harder for you to learn how to balance on your skateboard. Keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's completely up to you and what you prefer, and just do whatever feels most comfortable to you. I mean, take a look at Daewon song. His trucks are like barely on his board, so I mean, it really is just a preference. To help you decide how loose or tight you want your trucks to be, I recommend you try riding in a straight line a few times and then do it again, but try to lean forward and lean back to turn and see how easy or difficult it is for you to do that. If your board isn't turning as easily as you would like or it feels rigid, I'd recommend loosening up them trucks. And if it feels like you're turning too easily and it's throwing off your balance, then I'd recommend tightening them trucks a little. And the easiest way to loosen or tighten your trucks is to use what we call a skate tool, or sometimes referred to as a T-tool. Luckily for you, I've got a whole dang video about skate tools, so I'd recommend you go and check that one out, preferably after you watch this one. As you begin your skateboard journey, you may start with looser or tighter trucks, but don't think that's set in stone. It's easy to adjust the more and more you become comfortable with your skateboard. Once you have your truck set up to your liking, it's time to figure out your preferred skateboard stance. There are 2 main stances in skateboarding, and that's regular and goofy. Regular is when you push with your left foot forward, and goofy is when you push with your right foot forward. Despite the name being goofy, it doesn't mean like you push it like a silly way or something. Though, you know, sometimes I do be pushing in silly ways. Goofy is just some weird term that skaters of the past decided to use. It doesn't mean that you're like skating wrong or differently. It's really just goofy. But for real, the name is misleading. If you push goofy-footed, there's nothing wrong with the way you push. I push goofy-footed, and so do like a bazillion skaters. As I've already said like 60 times, this is all about preference. Use the foot that is most comfortable to you. It's like being left-handed or right-handed. Neither are correct, but one is gonna feel more comfortable to you. And we do know that right-handed people are better, statistically. Now, as a beginner, you may think that everything with your skateboard feels uncomfortable, and that's completely fair, but I'm hoping that your pushing stance is a little bit more obvious on which one feels more comfortable. It's kind of like throwing a baseball with your left or right hand. Both ways may feel kind of uncomfortable to you, but hopefully one way is a little bit better. Another way to figure out your stance with skateboarding is to just drop your skateboard on the ground and walk up to it, and naturally you're gonna wanna put one of your feet forward on the skateboard. Keep in mind, being left-handed or right-handed is not gonna determine if you are regular-footed or goofy-footed. There is no correlation between the two. Unless science says otherwise. I haven't done any research on it. Now, I'm a firm believer that as long as you're out having fun while skateboarding, there is no wrong way to skateboard. However, there is one way of skateboarding that I would not recommend, and that's called Mongo pushing. Mongo pushing is when you push with your foot at the back of the skateboard. Now, there are a variety of reasons why you shouldn't be doing this, but the biggest one is that it doesn't allow you to have as much control of your skateboard. When you push with your front foot on the top half of your skateboard, you're evenly distributing your weight between the nose and tail of your board. When you Mongo push, you are giving up a lot of control of your skateboard. Mongo pushing may not be a huge deal when you're just learning how to ride, but when you want to start learning tricks, you're making it more difficult for yourself. But if you Mongo push and need to get set up for a trick, you gotta swing that foot all the way back to your front end of your skateboard, then you gotta readjust your weight. You're losing a lot of precious time to set up for skateboard tricks. Long story short, it's way easier to just not get into the habit of Mongo pushing from the get-go than to be skating for 5 months and then having to relearn how to push. So just don't Mongo push. If you don't believe me, ask my good pal, Tony Hawk.
Some common mistakes with pushing. Well, the most common is called Mongo foot, and Mongo foot is the act of pushing with your front foot instead of your back. You get much less control, you don't get as much speed, you have to set up your feet more when you stop the push, and we do not recommend it.
Thanks, Tony. Anything else you want to say to the people?
Dak, you are the coolest person ever. I think you make great content and everyone is jealous of you. I'm proud of you.
Aw, you're too nice, Mr. Real Tony Hawk. I'm not gonna lie to you, the first week of your skateboard journey is gonna be pretty difficult. Nothing feels natural, you're using muscles you didn't even realize you had, and you're probably gonna fall. A lot. And even though it is very possible to learn in only your first week of skateboarding, you really gotta have the fundamentals down before you start doing tricks. You gotta walk before you can run, you gotta swim before you can fly, you gotta yeet before you can yote. You know what I'm saying? When you got the basics of riding your skateboarding down, it's gonna be 10 times easier to learn tricks. I'm gonna show you this clip from the Daewon song documentary, which is amazing and you should go watch it, but it sums up exactly what I'm trying to say.
I would say if I had to categorize Daewon, I think he is also a person that did a lot of skating, like a lot of basic skating before he did tricks. You can tell by the way the person rides their board and how they stand on their board, how much time they've put into just skating, which is something that no one does now, because I mean, immediately you get a board and the first thing you want to do is learn how to ollie.
Again, I'd really recommend you go watch the whole documentary. It's on YouTube for free. The link will be in the description of this video. But for that first week of skateboarding, really just focus on riding around on your skateboard. Find an open place like a basketball court or a tennis court and just practice riding in circles over and over and over again. So even though you may not be landing any tricks, you're laying the groundwork for your skateboard journey. Another way to just practice riding around your skateboard is to find a park with a paved trail and just ride it as long as you feel comfortable. Riding these paved paths are great because you really don't have to worry much about debris. They usually go in a fairly straight line and you don't have to worry about cars or other things in the street. You may have to worry about crusty-eyed dogs barking at you though, but whatever. I think you can handle that one. The final thing I want you to do in your first week of skateboarding is to just keep practicing and don't give up. Skateboarding is tough and it takes a lot of time and practice and you're probably gonna fall several times. But don't give up and try to practice as often as you can. Your first week of skateboarding, you're probably gonna be super sore, so don't go too hard on yourself, but I'd really recommend to try to get out 3 times in skateboard in your first week of your skateboard journey. Also keep in mind that this is your skateboard journey, so don't hold yourself to such high standards, dog. Skateboarding is all about having fun, so just focus on the fun aspect of it and stop trying to learn every single trick on your first day of skateboarding. And I promise you, if you put the fun before the tricks, you're gonna have a much better skateboarding experience. And the tricks will come to you faster than you realize, so just relax, have some fun, and try to practice as often as you can. Every time you get out and skateboard, try to walk away with one new improved skill. You know, maybe the first day you want to try to roll 30 feet without falling, and you do that. So then the second day, try to double that length. However, as I was just saying, it's all about fun, so don't feel like you need to set goals for yourself. But also, when you're done skateboarding for the day, maybe just reflect on what you accomplished. This is becoming very much like, do your goals, don't do your goals, do your goals. I'm not trying to do that. I've been skateboarding for over 15 years, and I can confidently say that whenever I'm done skateboarding, I feel like I either learned a new skill or I improved a previous skill. Some days it is something small like, oh wow, that kickflip I did felt better than any kickflip I did yesterday. As a beginner, it may be something simple like, oh wow, I noticed that when I got on my board, it felt very natural today. All I'm saying is, you don't have to feel like you're Tony Hawk landing the 900 at the 1999 Summer X Games every single time you're done skateboarding. It can be little things. It can even be just the tiniest of victories like, wow, when I was out skateboarding today, I didn't see a single crusty-eyed white dog. And that's one thing I think we should all improve on. I guess I should apologize to the crusty-eyed dogs watching, because it's not your fault you're crusty-eyed. But you know what you did. The most important things you should have learned from this video is get out there and practice often, and don't be so hard on yourself, and have fun. I almost forgot that last one. Like I've already said, skateboarding takes a lot of time and practice, but when you prioritize that fun, you'll never have a bad day of skateboarding. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this video, and maybe even consider subscribing if you want to see more skateboarding content like this in the future. And as always, have fun. Wink, wink, because we just talked about that. Good luck, and keep shredding the gnar.